All right, we're all done learning all the sections. Now all we have to do is be able to look at an equation and tell which conic section it will be. So we've been talking about the differences among the equations this whole time. You guys like the circles because they're not usually divided by anything. They equal the radius squared and they have a plus sign. The ellipses have plus signs, right? And the longer number tells you, the bigger number tells you the major axis and whether it will be horizontal or vertical. The hyperbolas have minus signs, and the first letter will tell you if it's horizontal or vertical. And the parabola has a plane X or a plane Y, and then the other one will be squared. So let's look at 1A. First thing I'm looking at is that sign right there. It's a minus sign. So guess what? It's a hyperbola. So first we say it's a hyperbola. Okay. Why? Because of the minus sign. Or if we just circle it, we can write that. We need to say where the vertex is. So we need the H and the K. So the vertex is at the opposite of -7 and the opposite of +2. And a quick sketch of the graph. All right. 7 over, 2 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 down. That's where the center is. And now we need to figure out which way it's going to open. For the hyperbolas, since the order matters, we need to go with whichever letter's first. Since the X is first, it's going to be horizontal. So, horizontal hyperbola would be like this. All right, this is just a sketch. I'm not even having you draw the box, although we could. It'd be 5 wide and 2 high. If we wanted to put a 5 and a 2, we could, but that's all I'm looking for. Let's do 1B. Let's see, this is looking like the y is not squared, so this one has to be a parabola. Where is it centered? The vertex will be at HK. H is next to the X, K is next to the Y. So the vertex will be at +4, +3. And a real quick sketch of this. Let's go 4 over and 3 up. And the Y is first. It means it'll be vertical. This number is positive, so that means it's going to open up. Last one. I see a plus sign. That's making me think it's either an ellipse or a circle. Since it equals 1, I'm going to go with ellipse. Ellipse, because of the plus sign. Where's the vertex? It's at HK. H is right here. K is right here. So it'll be +1, +1. And now for a very quick sketch of this. A vertex at 1, 1. We need to figure out, is it horizontal or vertical? This time we get to look for the bigger number. The bigger number is underneath the Y. So that means it's going to be an up and down one. This equation is something that all of those equations in the first box could be rearranged to look like. So if you were to see an equation that looked like this, as opposed to what you saw in that first table, then we would be able to use this information to help us decide which type of conic section it is. It all depends on what we get when we figure out what b squared minus 4ac is. So that's the equation we need. It's right here. So we just need to figure out what the numbers for A, B, and C are. So let's look here. A is always in front of the x squared. B is always in front of the x and y plane right next to each other. And the C is always in front of the y squared. We could figure out what D, E, and F are, but we don't need them for the formula, so we honestly don't care about them to decide. So let's figure out what A, B, and C are. We'll plug them into the b squared minus 4ac formula, and depending on what we get for our answer, we'll be able to match it up with one of these situations. So let's figure out 2a. The 6 is in front of the x squared, so that means that 6 is A. The 9 is in front of the y squared, so that means that it is C. I'm looking for the B. The B is next to the x and the y, but I don't see it, so that means that B is 0. So into the b squared minus 4ac, we're going to put the 0 in here, so it'll be 0 squared minus 4 times our number for A, which was 6, times our number for C, which was 9. So we're going to have 0 minus 276, which is negative 276. So we got a negative number. All right, so we look up here at the chart, and when we get a negative number, if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, that means we got a negative number. And this one right here is also when we have a negative number. This is if we get a positive number, and this is if it actually equals 0. So we are basically between the circle and ellipse. So now we have to look over here. Did b equal 0? Yes. Did A equal C? No. So it can't be the circle, it has to be the ellipse, because both of those conditions have to be true in order for it to be a circle. For the ellipse, either B could not equal 0 or A could not equal C. Since A did not equal C, that's what made this one okay, and it was an ellipse. Let's try it for 2b. Let's figure out A, B, and C. A is next to the x squared, so the 4 is A. The B is next to the xy, and the C is next to the y squared, and since there's no number, it's positive 1. So let's plug those into b squared minus 4ac. So we're going to plug in the 4 for b squared minus 4 times that 4 for A times that 1 for C. So 4 squared is 16. 4 times 4 times 1 is 16. And we get 0. That matches up with this last line right here, that we got b squared minus 4ac to equal 0. So this one's a parabola.